Hey, how's it going, everybody? It is Jazzy, the Source Sasquatch here, and we are doing our Throwback Thursday. I have a brand new movie for you with Spider-Man and 72 Hours, and then I have a couple follow-up Marvel movies for you, and then at the end of this, instead of doing a box office report, we'll do the official top 10 list for 2026 so far. So let's start here with the biggest movie on planet Earth, Spider-Man: Brand New Day, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, starring Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Sadie Sink. A forgotten Peter Parker lives alone as a full-time Spider-Man until mounting pressure triggers a dangerous change and a powerful new enemy emerges. John Barenthal's in this as well. Mark Ruffalo, Jacob Batalone, Florence Pugh, and Michael Mandel, plus so many more. And we even highlight Michael Mandela's Nacho on Better Call Saul for the longest time. We were talking about that, so it's cool to see them. He's actually in both movies we're talking about here. Had over a $225 million budget. It's already made over $1 billion worldwide, including a record amount of $360 million over the opening weekend in America just alone. This is the biggest movie of all time. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I'm not gonna like give any spoilers out. Just gonna say go watch it for sure, 100%. Even if you're on the fence, just go see it. It's worth the watch. Um, the one thing I will, a couple of things, notes I will have on this is, as I was looking up the stuff here for to write everything down, I realized that I didn't even know who directed this movie, and I think that that is what helps this movie. I think that's where not until I get into the whole thing, just gonna talk about it real quick because I know we're kind of. Cause I mean, go see the movie. A plus, number one movie, $1 billion in 5 days. Like, I mean, I think if you have any plans of seeing this movie, you're gonna see it this week or next week, and there's nothing really I'm gonna say to sway you. So I'm just gonna kind of talk about just this movie compared to maybe like the Supergirl release earlier in the year, where we know that James Gunn was attached and had a big producer and everything behind it. Like, really, Kevin Feige is the guy that runs kind of all Marvel with the executive part of it. And I couldn't even have told you who the director was until I looked it up of this movie, and I think that helped. I think what also helped was at the time of Tom Holland coming out for the first time around, is we didn't know who he was. Um, and DC still tries to put main like list guys into these roles, and then we already most people either like Ben Affleck or don't like Ben Affleck. Now they have to decide if they want to go see Ben Affleck Batman or not, like stuff like that. Like, I think that would help DC and stuff if they went maybe just like a nobody director and got an executive that kind of kept everything together, and like maybe hired a couple story people that could run it and or keep everything congruent, and we can get like an overall layout. We get a better DC universe. But right now, Disney's killing it. We have Avengers Doomsday at the end of the year, so, and we're gonna continue with our Marvel stuff here. Like, just think about it. Like, we've covered like probably 25 movies already, I think, and just inside the Marvel universe, and we haven't even hit the cinematic universe yet. So it's just a crazy amount of movies, and it's just crazy well done. And this is just like a celebration of all that. So congratulations, Spider-Man, Brand New Day. You killed everything. Good job. That is Spider-Man, Brand New Day, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. Let's see here. And the next one we're going to talk about here is 72 Hours, directed by Tim Story, Kevin Hart, Marcelo Hernandez, Mason Gooding, Cam Patterson, and Ben Marshall are also in this. That's the whole like main four. A 40-year-old executive ends up at a 3-day bachelor party with a 20-somethings after being mistakenly included in their group chat. It's coming out July 24th, 2026. It's funny. Kevin Hart's funny in this. I never realized that Mason Gooding is in this. He's also in Scream. I never realized that was Cuba Gooding Jr.'s kid. So that's pretty cool. I think that he was good in this. I think it's kind of funny because we get to see like an old era person going with a new age person, and kind of the difference of going out and all of that. That was kind of funny. I think that like if you're gonna do the like kind of woke stuff that they did in this is like a good, better way to present it than some of the other ways, like at least a more creative way. Um, Nothing offensive. I mean, it's Kevin Hart. Cat Williams also pops up in this too and beats up Kevin Hart for a little bit, which is funny. It's kind of worth a watch there if you're just kind of into that whole thing. But yeah, I mean, it's worth a watch. If you like Kevin Hart, if you like comedy, it's a funny movie. It's funny enough to watch, and you can sustain it, and it's entertaining enough. We don't get the numbers or anything like that because it's a Netflix movie, so we don't even get budget, and of course they don't do like box office and stuff like this. But I'm sure it would have done very well. I'm pretty sure that it is like the number like 3 or 4 movie. I think I even saw it at one point over number 1. So that is 72 Hours, directed by Tim Story. And then we will get into our Marvel part of this. We're getting into the X-Men Wolverine parts, and the second iteration of the X-Men. And that is, we're going to start here with X-Men Origins Wolverine, directed by Gavin Hood, starring Hugh Jackman, Lou Schreiber, and Danny Huston. The early years of James Logan, featuring his rivalry with brother Victor Creed, his service in the Special Forces Team Weapon X, and his experimenting experimentation into the metal-lined mutant Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds, of course, pops up in this. This is his first time around as Wade Wilson, which is like a bastardized version of it. That's like the only thing that they really got wrong. Especially, Eric, that's like the first thing that Fox really got wrong with this whole like story with the X Men, and it wouldn't be the last. I mean, we're gonna talk about them because we're gonna go through them here, but um, Will I Am is also in this, and Lynn Collins and a couple other people pop up. It's a pretty good cast. It's a pretty good movie, honestly. For like the first like hour and a half, it kind of does lag on into the end, especially with the new Deadpool and um Wolverine fight. That was just kind of dumb. Finally, at least Ryan Reynolds finally made it up to us by making a decent Deadpool movie. There's 2 like in a row where Deadpool was just kind of a lame character, but that is this movie. Hugh Jackman is a trooper. He's been playing Wolverine since the start, and he's still doing it. It's awesome, and this is a good origin story. You got to remember, I think they were gonna plan on doing like a Magneto one and another one until they like shifted over to First Class, which is weird because they did First Class and then another Wolverine. So it's interesting. X-Men Origins Wolverine, directed by Gavin Hood, though worth the watch. The next one we're gonna talk about here is the Wolverine, directed by James Mangold, starring Hugh Jackman, William Lee, Tayo Okamoto, Rila Fukushima. Wolverine comes to Japan to meet an old friend whose life he saved years ago and gets embroiled in a conspiracy involving Yakuza and mutants. One thing I will tell you is this had a lower budget, with like $30 million. I think that's one of the reasons why they went to Japan, but it just like makes no sense where they're just like, especially after First Class came out, they're like, well, we got Wolverine. What are we gonna do with Wolverine? Why not just put him into the next one like they eventually decided to do? And instead, they kind of rushed this movie. It's like a martial arts Wolverine movie. It's not like a terrible concept for everything. It just kind of doesn't go with everything that we've learned, and there's nothing like that ties this into the other ones. So it is an interesting choice of timing and everything that comes out with this with the Wolverine. But even watching it, I had to fast forward to it, a lot of it because I just didn't care about the story. I just want to kind of see the action and kind of see how everything develops. Because it's been so long since I watched this movie, anyways. It just really wasn't a good take. I think it's kind of long, very long. I don't think it's kind of long. I know it's very long. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. There's no reason for it to be 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it just kind of drags and kind of repeats and everything. And on top of it, the program I use doesn't always have subtitles, so that kind of hurt it too as well. But that is the Wolverine, directed by James Mangold. Hey, they all can't be winners here. And then the next one, the last one we're going to talk about here, is X-Men First Class. Is the second iteration. This is the first time of the second iteration of the X-Men here, directed by Matthew Vaughn, starring James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, and Jennifer Lawrence. In the 1960s, superpowered humans Charles Xavier and Eric Lyncher work together to find other human like them, but Eric's vengeful pursuit of an ambitious mutant who ruined his life causes a schism to divide them. That is Kevin Bacon that they're talking about there. Rose Byrne also pops up in this. Oliver Pratt, January Jones, Nicholas Hoult, Caleb Landry Jones. Of course, we said Jennifer Lawrence. A lot of people that were gonna be stars are gonna be stars. Were in this movie. Had a budget of 160, had an opening of 55, and a gross 352. It was a very well done movie. I like how they brought in the real world effects with the Cuban Missile Crisis and everything into the story. I think they did a very good job integrating everything. And eventually, I think that they just did knock it out of the park with Days of Future Past, was like one of my all-time favorite comic book movies, which we'll talk about next week. This one though is awesome. I think Michael Fassbender is a great Magneto, especially young Magneto. McAvoy is a great Xavier too. And Kevin Bacon's a great villain in this. He's dark, he's a menace, and he's a Nazi, and he like goes all out for it, which is awesome. This is one of those ones that like if you haven't seen, I really suggest you see because it is like a top 10 greatest comic book movies in my opinion of all time. It's probably 10 or maybe even an honorable mention, but it's definitely like deserving into that honor. But they didn't make as much money as even the Wolverine, so that's kind of crazy. Um, I think maybe it was a little bit of superhero fatigue. I think we always can say that because there's always gonna be superhero movies, but that's my bad. What happened there? That was X Men First Class, directed by Matthew Vaughn. And I got my top 10 movies of 2026 so far. I'm, just because it's constantly you're popping out new movies every week, and every week it can change. It's always a variable here. But right now we have 10 is Ready or Not. Number 9 is Backrooms. Great movie. Great concept, comes from Creepypasta. Number 8 is Masters of the Universe. I thought it was a very well done remake. I think that even the woke parts of it were there in the 1980s of it, and this kind of movie was just kind of made for this generation. So I thought it was very well done. Number 7 here is Scream 7. Me, Scream's always gonna be on the list there. I'm trying to keep it on the top 10 list for the year, but you never know because there are some bangers coming out still. At least one's probably gonna move it off, and that's Avengers Doomsday. But that is where it's at right now. Number 6 here is Obsession. Breaks my heart I had to put Obsession ahead of Scream, but it is just a little bit better. Disclosure Day is number 5. Great Steven Spielberg movie. Kind of brings you back to kind of an old school Steven Spielberg. Great vibes. I really liked it. Scary Movie 7, of course, is number 4 here. Of course, we can't say enough about it. It was one of the funniest movies this year and probably the last like 5 years. Wayne's brother did a very good job here. And then number 3, I already told you this was going to happen if you were paying attention during the review, and that is Evil Dead Burn. Very great movie, scary, gory. Like I'm gonna walk away remembering stuff from it. A great movie, and it was so good. It inspired us to do a horror movie part. In the horror movie section that we do, we're doing Ash vs Evil Dead just because this movie was so good. I wanted to watch as much Evil Dead content as I could. And then number 2 here is the comic book movie Supergirl. I thought Millie Alcock was very good at her role. I think I understand some of the criticism of maybe not being cheery, but I think if you would have watched your whole world die, you wouldn't be a very cheery person as well. And number 1, of course, is Spider-Man. Brand new day. I think that the Doomsday movie is gonna have to be that much better to even be ahead of this. It might be just like a 1A and 1B here with those two, but Tom Holland kills us and Zendaya is very good. You heard the review earlier. I'm not really trying to like give out spoilers. So I don't want to like really say anything that happens throughout it or anybody who is the villains and not villains, but definitely go check that out. If you have not seen it, which I doubt you have not seen it because you are watching a movie review. You probably like movies and you definitely saw Spider-Man if you like movies. Brand new day. That is our Throwback Thursday for the week. We got our horror movie night tomorrow where we'll cover the end of season 1 and the start of season 2 of Ash vs. Evil Dead, as well as two brand new horror movies that are like kind of like out in the mainstream level, and then one brand new horror movie that is definitely a C1, but it was kind of fun to watch. So look for that tomorrow. And then I think this week we're gonna go see a little movie called Super Troopers 3. So that should be good and exciting and nostalgia filled. Thank you guys very much for watching, and please have a good rest of your good rest of your day, and please like and subscribe.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Comment your top movie picks for Throwback Thursday in the comment section. And see you next time in the cave.